What's good, y'all? Wave Magnetic here, and I'm back with another tutorial. Today I'm gonna talk to you about how I made my track Time. And if you know me from Facebook, then you've probably seen this video. This is the video. This song is the video that I did where I'm in the living room playing and stuff. And you've probably already seen this. So this is how I made this song, or this is how I produced the song. Before I get into the video, if you learn something new, make sure you leave a comment below and like it, subscribe, all of that wonderful stuff. Let me know what you think about what I'm talking about. And I got Horns Matter tees in my merch store. So if you want to pick up one of these, just go to wavemagnetic.com/shop and, pick up 30 of them because, brother got to eat, you know what I'm saying? And if you just want to support the brand, I greatly appreciate it. So now I'm going to get into this video. So with this song, let's see here. The first thing that I came up with was the basic groove that I had. So let's listen to the drums first. Basically, the rhythm goes something like this. It's pretty simple, basic hip hop beat, So the kick drum here, I think this is a kick that I actually made in Kick 2. I make pretty much all of my kicks and I make some of my snares in Kick 2. It's a great plug-in. If you get a chance to, if you want to be able to customize your kick drums, then I would suggest picking this up. So what I did with this is I put an SSL plug-in on it. Let's see here. Let's start from scratch. So the kick drum by itself, without nothing, sounds. And all I did was put this SSL on it. I put a little bit of compression on it here. You'll see it coming right here. And I boosted, I put the low band at 100 hertz. I boosted that up. I did not turn the bell on. I kept it a low shelf. I boosted that up 6 dB ish. I guess I turned up a little bit around 400 to give it a little bit more knock, and a little boost, a little high end to get the click action going. And here at 1.8 hertz to get a little click action. I cut off below 50. And this sounds like. So that was cool. And then I felt like it didn't have enough girth to it. So I did a little parallel distortion. Here's a little trick. If you notice that some of your not just low frequency, anything, if it feels like it's not doesn't have enough bite to it, you can do parallel distortion. So I put a decapitator on it. I have it on the A, boosted that up. So this sounds like, and I just blended it in. Real simple. That really makes the kick sound really good. And let's see here. This right here is all this is a little bit more SSL compression on it, and I put a limiter on it so it didn't get too loud. If you notice, if you look, I did not put a what's the word? I didn't turn the velocity off when I did this. So if you see, the volumes are different on the snare roll. And I put the limiter on there so it just didn't get too loud. It was just to control the volume. Let's see here. Snare fill. What's that? Let's see what that is. Oh, yeah. So I just made a fill with the snare. Oh, okay. So let me unfreeze that. So here's a cool thing. Again, this is just a little compression. This thing will do what it's supposed to do. Yeah. It's just a little compression here. Boosted some low end. Didn't even mess with the highs. Cut a little lows. Real simple shit. More middle. But the cool thing about this, I wanted it to sound like it was really wide. So I put the little micro shift on it. This little thing right here will make sound really wide. It's like almost like a chorus. So listen without it. And with it. Really opens it up in the stereo field. And it makes the feel a little bit interesting. The snare, again, just compression and EQ. The clap, compression and EQ. Compression and EQ. And then these hats and the crash, I didn't do anything to them. So they're just, yeah. So then I put a bass to it. With my basses, I usually break them up into two sounds, okay? So if you listen here, this is two basses put together. So basically I have a sub bass here, and all I do is I smash the hell out of it with the L2. I love L2 on basses, at least on the sub bass. It makes that thing just flatten out into like a sausage. It ain't got no kind of dynamics whatsoever. And that's the point. When you got your sub bass, you want that sub bass to rattle the room. That's it. That's the only purpose of a sub bass. When you get into that club, it's supposed to knock and just rattle that room. Just, you know what I'm saying? And if you don't have a compressor on it, when it changes notes, some notes will be louder than others. It'll be, when it goes up, it'll be louder. It goes down, it'll be softer. And you don't want that, because if you get it to a point where it's rattling the room and then it gets louder, it's going to destroy the speakers. And that's not good. That's no bueno. That's how you don't get called back to do the gig. That's how people stop playing your music. Other DJs playing your music. You want your shit to be consistent. So you just wanted people to just feel it in their chest. So I basically take this and I smash the hell out of it. You see that? It's like 6 dB. Ain't going nowhere, right? And this is just to cut off. This EQ is just to cut off a little bit of the highs, so it didn't get in the way of the other higher bass. Now I have this higher bass here. Let's see. This bass. Let me unfreeze it. This bass is just a higher bass. And I cut off all of the lows under 100 hertz. I did that in an earlier stage, so that's why you're not seeing it here. But I just cut that, and I put an LA2A copy. This is T-Rex's LA2A. And I just compress it. But the cool thing is this bass is in stereo. So I unlink the sides. So when you link them together, it sounds more mono. But when you unlink it, the stereo feel kind of goes like this. Really keeps it dope. So it sounds good in the mix. So when you put the drums and the bass together, so they talk to each other real good. Now the thing here too is I have sidechain compression on here. This sidechain compressor is to the kick. This one is to the snare. Now this right here, I do all of my sidechain compression not on this kick and this snare down here. I do it up here. I have a ghost kick and I have a ghost snare. See, that way when I manipulate the kick and the snare to get it to sound good in the mix, I can keep the sidechain compression sounding exactly the same as it was before I manipulated those sounds. So I just have them here on a track, have it muted, And then I have everything that's in all the music. I bust everything that's not drums to an all music group. And then I put the compression on here, sidechain compression. And I just play with it till it sounds good. If you look. Simple shit, right? Sounds good. But to really get because the other thing is that I put I guess it's side chaining the side chain. I put the EQ on here so that you can, it cuts off the lows for the side chain. Listen. Oh, actually, sorry. This. You see how the kick has no bottom end on it, right? If I turn it off, you'll see. You see, now that's the full kick. I only want the mid-range and up of the kick because I don't want the whole track to be compressed the length of the kick drum and longer, because it just doesn't sound good for the groove. For this song, and for most songs that I do, I will turn this little EQ thing on and have it up to 200. That way I get rid of all that low end. Now that presents a problem though, because now when you have your bass, you can't have your bass be super strong and it's not getting out of the way of the kick drum. It's just not going to work. They're not going to meld together very well. So the way around that is to create a dynamic EQ. And in Ableton is pretty dope. You can do it with the stock plugins. So this is something I do almost every mix. So right here is an envelope follower. I set this, look. So that right there is this envelope follower. It follows the envelope of this kick drum. And then I sidechain that. Oh, let me turn this joint off. Yeah. Then I sidechain that to the bass bus. I bus all the basses together. And then I set that to this nodule right here. So every time the kick jump goes, this nodule right here will go down and turn down the lows on the bass. Watch. You see that? You see how it's moving? And it goes with the kick drum. You see that? So that gets all of the low end out of the way. And it's really specific to the length of the kick drum. It's not like a compressor where you have a tail that goes longer and then it's actually longer than the length of the kick drum, which makes it, I mean, it could be cool or not cool, but like, I don't like that. So I want it to be with the bass. I want my bass to come immediately after my kick drum is done. So that way I always got that low end. I always got that shit knocking. It always hitting you in your chest. All right. So now here is a saw pad. Again, with this, it's the same type of thing. I have the LA two-way on there. I compress it where I unlink it. You know, the sides, they go like that. Got some low end cut off. I EQ some high end up, and I EQ the sides on the mids, just the sides on the mids, so it sounds wider. Let's see if I can make you understand it a little better. So if you listen to it, so that's compression right here. Unlink the sides, couple dB of compression. This right here is boosting up at a 4K. And then this right here is just for the sides. If you didn't know, you can do this with the EQ8. You just put it in mid-side mode. And it's the mids and the sides. I just boost that up around 484. And then it makes it sound a lot wider without it and with it. See, that's dope. That makes it sound wide without getting in the way of everything else. And because too, when you use a lot of those stereo widening plugins, sometimes the phase gets weird. This way, it's going to sound fine. When they collapse into mono, it's going to sound great. So it's no biggie. Let me put that back. All right. See, that's the other thing is with my computer isn't like the most powerful computer of all time. So I got to keep this stuff, what they call it is freeze. I got to freeze the tracks so that it saves on CPU and I'm able to teach y'all. So what's this sound here? Oh, okay. So that's just another pad. It's basically the same thing as the other pad. I got some LFO tool on here. What's this at? Quarter notes. That just creates a rhythm. You know, it's cool. Plays the chords. Then on this part right here, this sound is, I think it's a sequencer. It goes diggity 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 diggity. So this is just a little compression, EQ, and right here I got a filter going on it, and it's again that LFO tool. Watch how this sounds. You see that? That's kind of dope. It kind of sneaks in like that. And when you put it together, it's cool. Doesn't get in the way of the horns, and it has a presence to it. Okay? So a lot of times I like to double my leads and horns together. Together they create a nice little sound. So again, this is a lead right here. It's this sound. It's pretty simple. Sounds like a sawtooth wave. That's pretty much it. And then I got a compressor. I got a 1176 on it, and some EQ. Really simple shit. So also, I'm running this to the Valhalla room. So this Valhalla room sound. See, it's a short room just to give it some space. To go with that, I got the trumpets here. So let's see here. With horns, a lot of times, if you double the horns, you get a nice little sound to it. So here, I think I just double each horn once. Let me make sure. So basically, that's the lead line with some harmony on it. And again, with trumpet, it's the same thing. It's just compressing. So I run it through 1176 first. Then this goes to my SSL, which gives a little bit more compression and a little EQ. I boost some high end, boost some high mids, cut out a little bit of the mids, and I cut off everything under 100 hertz. Pretty basic shit. Then I run it through another 1176, but I run it through the blue one because that has a certain sound to it. And again, here I'm doing my trick of parallel distortion to give it a little bit more bite, because when I recorded it, it goes through a Focusrite, which doesn't add like any kind of color or anything. It's just pretty, like, it's just trumpet. But when you add a little distortion to it, it gives it some life. Let's see. Oh, let me solo it. See? Just gives it a little bit of energy. Let's see here. That's that. And then I add another thing here. I add a little trombone. Yep. So, and this is kind of cool. The way I do that is I will play trumpet, and then I will just pitch it down inside of Ableton. The way Ableton works, it creates like the perfect sounding trombone. All you gotta do is play it on trumpet and tune it down an octave. It's pretty dope, right? Let's see here, and same shit. It's just the line doubled, and what's this? I think this is a little throwaway. Yeah, that just goes in between the beats. Yeah, I throw that in there, and that says time. That's why the song is called Time. And what does this have on it? It's just got a little bit of EQ and compression on it, and this is a auto filter. It's no biggie. Let's see here. This is it's a riser. That's dope. I don't think I did anything to that. No, I didn't do anything to that. Here's a down lifter. Simple. And let's see what this is here. Oh, this is some white noise rising up. Simple. Let's see, what is this? Oh, okay. This is a nice little explosion kick. So I rendered this in, but basically what this is, I take a kick drum and then I'll put reverb on it, and that's it. I'll put a reverb on a kick drum, and I make the tail really long, like 5-10 seconds, and it just explodes. Pretty simple. Now I always run my, well, not always, a lot of the times I run my reverbs, and delays on buses, because I just send instruments to the buses. So like here, I got this sent to the plate. The trumpets are sent to the plate, and they're sent to the slap. So if you listen. Which is cool. That's how I like to do it. So, but when you do that, if you have sidechain compression, so right here I have my sidechain compression going on all the music, right? All of the return tracks though, or the buses, this is not on there. So you're gonna have free floating reverb and delay going all over the place if you don't do this one thing. So I take all of my returns right here. If you look, I set it to sends only, and I send it all to the last one right here, which I call all effects. And right here, I put all of my sidechain compression on it. So now the return tracks, or the bus tracks, all have sidechain compression on it, just like the rest of the tracks. There's a little tip right there for Ableton routing for you. Let's see here. The next thing is, I think, where's it at? There should be a trumpet solo around here somewhere. Is this oh, here we go. Here's my trumpet solo. Yep, and again right here, this is a pad. That's the same kind of EQ compression as all the other pads. Has its own. Oh, here's something that's cool. Okay, let me unfreeze this. Well, what I like to do a lot of times when I have a solo, and even sometimes when it's not a solo, just when you have something that you really want to stand out, but you want the support to be there for the instrument, I will do parallel sidechain compression with whatever instrument I want to get out of the way. So right here, this pad right here is being side chained to trumpet 1, which means it's getting side chained for my trumpet solo. It's one horn fighting against drums, bass, and this pad. So the pad is the thing that's getting in the way of the trumpet. So I put this on here so that every time the trumpet plays, it just pushes that pad a little bit out of the way. Watch. That little bit helps a whole lot so that you really can hear this horn. Yeah. So in terms of the mix, that's pretty much all I did for my mix. And that's the production of the song too. So after that, I run it through all of my master bus. So this master chain is actually on the minute that I start mixing. All right. So first thing I do, I cut off all the lows underneath 25 hertz because you don't need anything lower than that. The lowest note of the song is like a E flat, so you're well below that. Then I cut off all of the side information below 162. So you can take Fab Filters, the Pro Q2 or Pro Q3, whatever it is at now, and you put it in linear phase mode. And then you can put it in mid-side mode. And this right here cuts off everything on the sides. It doesn't touch anything. This is mids. This is sides. This is both. Okay. So I just cut off the sides right here. And we're good to go. Then I run it through my T-Rex bus compressor. This right here is basically a SSL bus compressor. And I do the setting all the time. It's just 30. The attack time is 30 milliseconds. Release is 0.1 second. And I do it until I get like, 4 dB at the most. Let me make sure. Yeah. So it's always somewhere between 0 and 4 the whole time. Let's go around this area. And then I use this on every mix. This right here is EQP1A, is a T-Rex. I set it to 60. I turn it up 3 dB or to number 3, whatever. And then I leave this at 12. I put it around 8-ish. And then I put the boost up around 3 to 4. Somewhere in there is usually what sounds good. And then this is the exciter. Ozone. I'm an ozone lover. Ozone saves my doggone life. It is the shit. So here's a little trick I do a lot. I put it in mid-side mode. And I put this on. I put the low band up to 200. This band, I always set it so that I can hear the instruments. Check it. Like, I want to be able to hear the low around where the trumpet or the vocals are sitting in the mix. Where it feels like it's strong. And then I sit this around 8K. And so retro all in the middle here. These are the different kinds of distortion. You can pick a lot of different ones, but I have it all set to retro right now. So I mess with the mids to get the EQ curve to feel the way I wanted to sound, how I wanted to sound. And then I do the sides, and I always make sure I do the sides just a little bit more so that I can get that wideness on the track the way I wanted to. Because when you use the imager, it sounds a little weird to me. I mean, some people use it and it sounds great for them, but for me, the imager on Ozone, when I use that, I feel like it don't give me what I wanted. I feel like the drums become less punchy, and I want my drums to knock the whole time. So I use this the exciter in mid side mode, which winds up giving you the same result really. You still wind up getting it to be wider, but it also gives you the EQ, and it gives you the distortion that you need to make the song exciting. So I just do a little bit more on the sides. I never touch the bottom. Never touch the bottom on the sides. But I boost the mids, and the high end. And I'd always do just a little bit more so that it sounds wide. Then I run it through the full ozone. Well, I can give you a before and after with that. So. So you see how it opened up. It opens up a lot when you do it like that. And then we got this, the full ozone. I always run it through the vintage limiter just a little bit, just to hit the top peaks, just to hit the peaks a little bit. Then I have an EQ, cut out a little bit of the mids where the mud is, and put a little sparkly topness on it. I boost a little bit of low so I can get a little bit more bottom on it. I use the dynamic EQ. So it's just multiband and compression until it sounds good. And these days I've been loving IRC3 on the crispy setting. And I just run it through here. So I'll do a before and after ozone. Woo, man, ozone is the shit. So that right there is pretty much how I did the song Time. Yeah, hopefully you learned something new about this. Gave you a little bit of insight on how I do what I do. And yeah, if you like what you heard, make sure you hit the subscribe button below, comment, and leave a like. It really helps the channel out. And again, if you like these tees, I got these Horn Matter tees right here. Just go to wavemagnetik.com/shop and pick up 30 of them bitches. You know what I'm saying? All right, now. I'll see you in the next one. Peace.